All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. May we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Chan.
Here.
Commissioner Chang Frank.
Here.
Commissioner Kent.
Here.
Commissioner Logan.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
And Chair Abbott.
Here.
As of right now, Commissioner Trinkle is absent.
Okay, did you hear anything from her or just?
I did not.
Okay, all right, very good. Looking later, all right. I will now read the land acknowledgement. City of Albany recognizes that we occupy the land originally protected by the Confederated Villages of Lejeune. We acknowledge the genocide that took place on these lands and must make strides to repay the moral debt that is owed to this indigenous people, specifically the Ohlone tribe. We thank them for their contributions which have transformed our community and will continue to bring forth growth and unity. The City of Albany commits to sustaining ongoing relationships with the tribe and together build a better future for all that now make this their home. All right. Approval of the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes.
All right, very good.
Second.
All right.
Commissioner Chan.
Yes.
Commissioner Chang Frank.
Yes.
Commissioner Kent.
Yes.
Commissioner Logan.
Yes.
Commissioner Martin.
Yes.
And Chair Abbott.
That's a yes.
Thank you.
All right, we will now open the floor for public comment. So this is for folks in the public who wish to speak on something that is not on the agenda. We welcome you to step forward. Please identify yourself and speak into the microphone. There's no microphone.
My name is Lucy Hackett. I'm a volunteer with Love the Bulb, a community-based nonprofit devoted to protecting the spirit and spirit of the Albany Bulb, which is a uniquely and profoundly beloved park in Albany, bringing together diverse residents and that aligns with the city's goals for public space activation and environmental stewardship. Thank you.
Now speak into the microphone.
What were you saying?
And I wanted to let the group know a bit about our activities and the ways that the bulb is being used by the community. In January, Love the Bulb hosted an annual planting day in the Native Plants Garden, where 10 gardeners planted over 60 native plants, including a young buckeye tree, manzanita, and native sunflowers. While this event represents an organized manifestation of the community's interest in gardening and ecosystem restoration at the bulb, I note that other community members regularly care for the bulb's ecosystem by planting native seeds themselves all the time. Earlier this month, we also kicked off a new nature journaling 5-month series. This program, which is partially funded by the Albany Community Foundation, brings people together to observe and document the incredible plant and animal life of the bulb through nature journaling. And later this month, we'll be hosting a talk at the bulb by the founders of Cafe Ohlone and the Ohlone Land Conservants. We're committed to continuing this valuable work, and together with the countless residents that regularly enjoy this uniquely Albany space, we're thankful to the city for ensuring that the bulb remains a vibrant, well-cared-for asset for all residents. I hope that this care for the space enters the Commission's master plan planning study addendum and consideration today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Repeat organization. You did off.
Maybe just, so you're representing Love the Bulb?
Yes.
Just want to capture that because the microphone wasn't there yet. Yeah. Good. Good idea. All right.
We have a hand raised online.
Okay, very good. Look online. Maybe you can speak.
You can go ahead, Paolo. Hello? Okay.
Are they able to mute? I've been online before. Does it let you unmute?
I unmuted it for him, so right now, if he just muted himself back.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, apologies for that.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, I'll just straight in. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Paolo Nicuzia. I'm a longtime Albany resident who has appreciated and participated in many of the educational and sporting offerings this wonderful town offers, as have my wife and daughters. I'm here to describe some recent events, though, that have left some participants without a cherished recreational and social outlet and wondering about Albany's commitment to it. I spoke at a prior commission meeting a few months ago to express concern for the rising cost for registering teams to, in our case, to the Albany Co-ed Soccer Sports League, and explained it was making it difficult to field sufficient teams. At that time, I was told by department staff that it was too late to change pricing for the upcoming season, but that they would be reviewed for the future. And we appreciated that, and we were preparing for the new season starting in the spring. But about a week before the start of the season, we were suddenly informed that the spring season was summarily canceled. We understood this to be caused by staffing changes, which was unfortunate timing and probably preventable. But we were told that this was temporary and that the league would eventually return revamped and better than ever. So I and other team captains decided on a plan B, which was to rent the fields for the same dates and time, knowing that they would be available since the league had been canceled, and run our own informal league until next season. We were told okay initially, and we organized, told players, figured everything as far as costs and paperwork. But then the department decided that no, that it was the policy to first offer up the available time slots to youth groups that might be interested. We were told, we weren't told how long we might be in limbo waiting for this, and we called back every once in a while until the day we called and we're told that a youth group had taken the field. At that point, we looked at other options, Berkeley and so on, and they were all taken. So we currently have no league, and a few of us are hoping to occasionally play a few pickup games on Friday nights, which are available time slots, more or less, because nobody really wants to play then. At this point, I don't know, but I'm pessimistic if and when Albany offers a soccer league again, if there will be any teams left to join it. And this is minor stuff, but I started playing in 2010. The league has been going on for decades. It's admittedly far from the biggest problem on the globe. We know that, but it means a lot to some of your fellow Albany residents. It means friendships, exercise, mental health, belonging. If you ask anybody who's been in the league, they'll tell you that it's the best, most welcoming, most age and gender and friendly league, allowing all levels and so on. It was a mixture of unrealistic fee policy, disorganization, and institutional disinterest that may have just killed it. I value children's programs. I have many kids and so on. I have 2 kids in Albany, and I'm grateful for that. Well, I guess my time is up, but I just ask for a little clarification on the importance of adult-specific activities, and to clarify a little bit why it happened, and try to do better in the future. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. I'm pretty sure you understand that we're limited in how we can respond, but we can direct to staff
Yes,
if there's
I
any
understand.
answers or information you can provide.
We have the head of recreation here in the room.
Yeah.
I don't think I understood most of the context of what was going on there, but people in recreation might try to address that or tell the member of the public how they can reach out to staff to talk offline.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sid Schoenfeld. I'm the Director of the Recreation and Community Services Department. And thank you very much for your public comment and calling in. It's something that we're looking at on a consistent basis to accommodate as many people as we can in the few fields that we have. And if you'd like to reach out to me personally, you could send me an email or call my direct line, and I'd love to talk to you about it in more detail. Thank you.
I would also add that this body doesn't generally get into programming, but if there is some sort of issue, we can look at it. So appreciate you bringing this to attention. All right, any other public comment?
No other hands are raised.
Here, very good. We'll move on to presentation 4.1, butterfly tracking. I was told you would be in costume.
Good evening, Commissioners. Margot Cunningham, Natural Areas Manager. And tonight I'm going to talk about a project where we did some tagging of monarchs on Albany Hill. And this was actually with Hillary Sardinius, who was a former commissioner here. So next slide. So this was done in, so California Fish and Wildlife is tagging monarchs in partnership with California State Parks, the City of Albany, the Xerces Society for Invertebrate Conservation, and Point Blue Conservation Science. And the tags are going to be used to monitor how and when monarchs use overwintering habitat, how they move among different overwintering sites and nearby areas, how often they leave to forage, and where they go after overwintering. And the results will be used to better inform restoration and management of overwintering groves. By tracking the monarch butterfly population, we can use that information to figure out how other important pollinators are doing as well. So this is the process that they did up on Albany Hill. So they would get a butterfly net and net as many butterflies as they could, determine their sex, chill them. So they put them in this cooler, and that was to make them so they wouldn't flutter around so much as they collected data about them. So let's see, next slide. So this is the process. So this one here, so this is Hillary right here. And so she's, they sexed determined the sex of the butterflies, and then they weighed them and measured them. They looked at the wings to see what condition they were in. And right here, you can see this is a piece of tape that they put on the belly of the monarchs because a lot of them have this thing called OE, which is a parasite that debilitates the monarch. So they wanted to take a sample of that to see how much of each butterfly is being affected by that parasite. And the idea is that they wanted to put tags on the healthiest and largest monarchs. Okay, next slide. All right, so this is the actual putting the tags on. So the butterflies are all chilled, and so they're not fluttering around and moving. And so here, they put weights on the wings and then put the tag, which is right here. This is the Bluetooth tag. They put it on the back of the butterfly. And so the way they do that is they used eyelash glue, interestingly, because it's known to withstand rain and even hurricane winds, apparently. And so these tags, they have a little tiny solar panel on them, and they use radio telemetry tag technology, which transmits geospatial data from a remote source via radio waves, whatever that means. Somebody knows what that means, I don't. And so you might be wondering, and I was wondering, how does this affect the butterfly? They have this thing on their back. And so apparently studies have shown that the tags are very lightweight and they don't affect the flight or mating or other movements of the butterflies. And monarchs, they've actually been doing tagging on the East Coast, and they've tracked monarchs all the way to Mexico with these tags. So if they can make it to Mexico, then it must be okay. So they, on Albany Hill, they were only able to tag 4 males and 1 female. They were hoping to get more, but it's kind of near the end of, this was done in February, so it was near the end of their overwintering period on the hill. So a lot of them had already left. Next slide. And this is the process of releasing them. So they just put them on their hand and let them kind of warm up, and eventually they would fly away. And I think if you hit it's supposed to show, this is the tag here, and maybe if you hit a button on the, yeah, there it is. It shows, you can kind of see it. It's very small. That's the tag Next slide. So, yeah, and if you hit the button, there should be something that shows in the middle there. Yeah, so this is Albany Hill. So there's an app that you can get on your phone called Project Monarch. So the tags are made by this company called Cellular Tracking Technologies, and they've released this free app, Project Monarch, that you can see where tagged butterflies are, and you can also track the movements of the butterflies at overwintering sites or during their migration. And so Hillary said that they would return in the fall to tag a lot more monarchs, probably in November, when they'll be able to catch a lot more. So, yeah, so get the Project Monarch app on your phone and check it out. You may actually not see that many. I was using it this morning near the hill, and I didn't see anything. So it may be that all these tagged monarchs have gone inland by now. So, any questions?
Thank you. All right.
Oh, and then I forgot. This is a video that the California Department of Fish and Wildlife put up on YouTube that talks about the process that they did for this tagging on Albany Hill, and it's only a couple of minutes, so it's worth a view.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Great. Very exciting. Any questions from the commission?
Oh, well, what I meant was the particular ones that were tagged on Albany Hill, they only tagged 4 or 5 of them, so they may have all gone inland. They're not here around Albany Hill right now, but if you go inland with your phone and do a search for them, you might find them. So that, yeah. And you may actually find other tagged monarchs, not just ones that CDFW tagged here, because they're tagging them at other sites in Santa Cruz and other sites down south.
Very good. Any other?
Out of curiosity, I was wondering, is there a way to track I think it was 5 you said, monarchs that were on Albany Hill in particular, to look up their...
Yes, yeah, so you look up any of them that say AH and then a number after it. Those are the ones that were tagged on Albany Hill, yeah.
Good. All right. We can open then for public comment, public questions on this.
No hands raised
Other than,
online.
can I get these tags for my small children, I think. Or any discussion? I don't think you're really looking for anything from us. Any discussion, any comments you'd like to make? I think that's a fascinating project. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I wasn't able to get from Hillary if they've learned anything yet about the movements of the monarchs. That's what I'm really
I
curious.
guess the exciting thing would be to see monarchs from some other overwintering appear here.
Yeah.
And then also
yeah,
here when ours.
exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty neat that you can see where they have gone into different areas. So.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Will they increase the number when they come back in November
The number
to
that
more than 5?
the number that they tag? Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure how many they will, but yeah, I assume they're going to try to tag a lot more than what they did this time. Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Well, thank you very much. It's fascinating. You're
welcome.
I will watch that video for sure. And we will move on. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. 4.2, Parks Master Plan Planning Study Addendum, Project Kickoff.
Good evening. First of all, I wanted to thank you all for being so gracious to move this from the last meeting where I was unfortunately not able to move out of bed. So I'm better now, and I think I can go forward here. So what I wanted to do was take a moment to be able to introduce to all of you and to the public our Parks Master Plan amendment that we've kind of initiated at this point. We're working in a team. It's going to be Mark Hurley, Sid Schoenfeld, and myself that will work together across departments to get this going. Next slide, please. So what we're really doing is trying to look at the 2022 master plan and do an amendment to that. You know, it's time to refresh. And what we're first doing is trying to identify any underutilized areas and analyze places like the Ohlone Greenway, Pierce Street Park, and Ocean View, just to name a few, to figure out what's going on there now, what things may need to happen, or are we missing something? And we're trying to coordinate with various user groups in the community through large in-person meetings. And right now, I have finished drafting the online survey. It should be going live on Monday through SurveyMonkey. And so we're going to be sending that out as a mass email. I have also reached out to some of the athletic groups to let them know that we're doing this. And we will be meeting with them probably during the days to get some of the athletes that wouldn't come at night to understand how do they use the park for their programming, as well as look at, you know, Albany Unified School District uses our parks, as well as St. Mary's. And finally, we want to refine the landscape master plan and develop what kind of cohesive plants should be there and make sure we're doing the right things in the parks. And next slide, please. I don't know how well this can be seen, but I wanted to at least show you the span of, it's a very quick turnaround for this. We hope to have this wrapped up in June and July. We'll be coming back to the pros, I believe it's in May, to tell you where we are. But in the meantime, you'll be able to touch this project, so to speak, through the community events that we'll be holding, the survey, and some other updates that I'll make sure get put on the web as well. And so I just really wanted to take a moment. I mean, I know this is hard to read with respect to the project timeline, and we are off by about a week due to the fact that I was not in the office for a short bit. But we're back on and moving quickly, and I hope to keep that momentum going. So that's all I wanted to do, kind of a, you know, overview of where we are, and see if there's any questions or things that you think we should focus on. So I wanted to make sure I could get some of that feedback. And so if you have any questions, I'm open to those.
All right, very good. Bring it back for questions from the commission. See Brian about to say something.
Yeah, so I see the document also online. Thanks for posting that in advance. With the timeline and the list of things there, that's nicely laid out. What's planned for when, and so. Okay, and I'm wondering, at what point would we suggest places to look? Because there's also some places that aren't technically owned by the city, for example, Caltrans land under the freeway, that this commission has talked about utilizing. There's a private company right now that has a lease to use it, and it sounds like it was incredibly easy for them to put in that lease. So would the Caltrans land also be part of this?
Yes, we're looking at all underutilized areas to see how we might be able to program them. So we have looked at the Caltrans. We have looked at a lot of the Ohlone that wasn't looked at before, but there are a lot of opportunities that we think we hadn't looked at previously, and now maybe opportunities. So I agree with you that we could probably do that rather easily with Caltrans. So we are looking at that.
Is that still operating, the dog walking business under the freeway?
I heard it hit a snag of some kind, but I think it's still being leased by the.
I see people in there, whether
Is it authorized, yeah.
whether it's
Official or not?
official or unofficial. I'm
Just
not
curious.
sure.
Yeah.
Most of what I know is hearsay.
I wonder if you could say more about the public outreach. I know there's going to be a lot of people who want to have input on this. I just wonder if you can say a little bit about how they could do that, other than the survey, which you've mentioned.
Well, the survey's just the beginning to kind
Sure.
of get a feel. We're going to be reaching out to athletic groups. We're going to be reaching out to community groups. We're going to be forming those workshops and those opportunities, touch points, if I might, for the community as we move through this. And, you know, we'll do the normal, have a big workshop at the community meeting. I'm forgetting my names here, but anyway, you know, down there. We'll definitely have meetings there, as well as smaller group meetings, because I know that once this starts getting going, we will get contact from people that want smaller groups. You know, we're going to reach out to the smaller neighborhood groups, you know, soccer groups, the baseball groups, the basketball groups, the gardening groups, the, you know, more passive, the more active groups. I'm hoping we can hit as many people as possible. I mean, this is as I say, it's a feel-good kind of project because we're trying to open up and see if there's other opportunities. So I'm excited that we can get this going. I love community outreach, so I hope to be able to do some of that.
And if somebody wanted to be sure not to miss that, they could subscribe to the general e-news. Is there a
Right.
topical e-news on the thing?
So what I'm going to do when I send out the survey with the e-news, I'll make contacts on there as well. So if people wanted to outreach to myself, I would be more than happy to do that.
So anybody who's listening and wants to be kept abreast, to subscribe to the e-news.
Look for the e-news, or just send it to me. I'm Dina Tassini. I am the new Community Development Director. And if you just send that to me, I will be sure to respond.
All right.
I have
Very much.
question.
Yeah.
In the sort of bullet points, the identify and suggest programming for underutilized areas, it doesn't mention a few parks that I know we actually have in the master plan as like flex court space. So those would be Terrace Park and Memorial Park. And then also, I know we talked about the Ohlone Greenway, but also the Key Route Median. And I don't know if that's also another area that has a lot of.
I don't know that we looked at Key Route Median, but we certainly can look at that. And I just mentioned a few, so you're correct. All of those existing parks, whether small or big or whatever, will be looked at with respect to how do we program them now? What other needs or things could we do? So yes, we
So
will.
they will be considered in the scope.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I guess I have to kind of echo the same point. It'd be nice to have a plan that shows all the areas rather than.
And what we'll be returning to you is exactly that, because we are going to look at each individual
I mean, before you go into community engagement, facilitation, you might have a plan. People are going to come with all kinds
Oh,
of.
no, we will have that,
Okay,
yes, yes, absolutely, thank you.
And if somebody suggests something new, they can add it, but that's the point of the
Right,
process.
and-
That's the process. Yeah.
Exactly, and the survey asks some of those questions, like,
Okay.
you use these, why do you use these? Or what else did you want programmed here? There's a long list, and you can add, you know, whatever you're feeling that day, so.
All right.
I had another, I don't think you mentioned, or maybe you did mention the consultant that was going to be hired. Is the
It's
consultant?
Groundworks, it's
Okay.
the same consulting group that did the original Park Master Plan. No, I didn't mention that, so.
And are they going to be involved in the entire community
Yes.
outreach process? Okay.
Yes, they will. I just didn't
Sure,
really
no
need them
problem.
to come here for this kind of.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's
But
fine.
they will be involved as we go through the rest of this, yes.
Okay.
Part of what instigated this was, as I recall, is the sand volleyball court, the resistance to the location that was chosen, and then the recommendation from the city council or from wherever, or the community to evaluate broader areas. And so then the city has taken the opportunity to sort of assess a lot of these different spaces. So my question is the specific thing that came before us was sand volleyball, but along the way, we also heard about, it was the middle school, where, as I recall, some of the kids that came up and spoke said that they have a huge number of kids playing, not sand volleyball, but regular volleyball. I don't know what you call that. And so to the point where that's over impacted, where the kids are being turned away, but there's like many, many teams, and it was pretty impressive. all the engagement they have with that, and we have almost no support for that in the city and city lands. So that was between sand volleyball and regular volleyball. Again, the initial spark for this, I believe, was the sand volleyball, and I see there's a volleyball team meeting on your Gantt chart or whatever it is, on your list of your scheduling. Can you elaborate on if that's regular volleyball or if that's middle? Does that include the middle school? Because they were very, seemed like they had a big need. You know, what group that is?
I don't know what group it'll be yet, but we will definitely reach out to the middle school and the high school and other volleyball groups, because you are correct. Part of the impetus here was that we had some, concern about the sand volleyball and the placement, and it was a great opportunity to then evaluate sort of in a more wholesome way what we're doing, and is this the right location, or are there maybe multiple locations, or, I'm not really sure what we'll get to, but the analysis will definitely include looking at volleyball.
Including regular volleyball, not just sand volleyball.
Yes, we'll look at all programming.
All right, any other questions from the commission? Seeing none, we can open up for public comment. Questions or comments? Please.
Thanks for the presentation. It's an exciting process, and I look forward to the community engagement. I just wanted to kind of add on, since it was mentioned, I think there's a lot of underutilized space getting to the Albany Bulb that can improve transportation to it. So parking is always a thing in the Caltrans area. It comes to mind as somewhere for that. But also, as someone who used to live in University Village without access to a car, the way to walk to the bulb is very ugly, which makes it feel unsafe. And so I don't know if there could be beautification or other ways to utilize that open space and make it a more welcoming way for people to arrive by foot sustainably.
I'm writing that all down.
Thank you.
Very good. Other public comment? Any hands online?
No hands are raised online.
All right, going.
Sorry, just want to bring it back to what Commissioner.
Now we can bring it back to the commission?
Yeah, we can bring it back to the commission. We're going to discuss? Is that okay? Okay, I didn't know if it
Please,
was
now we're-
information only, if we weren't going to discuss.
No, it's fine, please.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess it's a discussion. So I wanted to bring it back to what Commissioner Martin was saying about the sand volleyball court. Maybe I'm just misremembering, but I did think earlier agenda items did sort of call out the sand volleyball court, and now I'm seeing that it's sort of not even sort of mentioned in this. So I'm just wondering what the
No, we are going to be evaluating that. I didn't give you this enormous list because we don't know what programming is going to come out of it also. I mean, there is part of that the public the community has to engage. I do believe volleyball will be one of those things that will come out of our community discussions. So we definitely this project was initiated through the discussions about volleyball and the great concerns about whether or not, for some people, did we choose the right location or not? And the response was, well, let's look at this sort of in a more broad way and see where we get to. So,
yeah, I guess that's just a little, that's, okay, I understand that, but it seems like a little stepping back of
I just want to point out, this is about the process. This is
Right.
This is the process, and the process would include these sorts of comments and opening. So I
Yeah.
don't think anything is being changed or anything. It's just
Yeah, no, from what I had heard, that there might be some specific prioritization of trying to cite a sand volleyball court. Sounds like it's going in a different direction. I don't
no,
know.
we're not. We are definitely going to prioritize looking at that because that's what initiated this discussion.
Okay.
But we have to look at, so where are the other options? Where do we have perhaps underutilized locations such as the Caltrans site?
No, I totally understand. It wasn't called out when I'd heard it called out before, so.
Okay. No, we definitely have not forgotten that.
Okay.
Particular.
I guess that's one of the things that, now that you say that, that's what's disturbing me about the schedule. It's both precise and vague. Precise because it has times and dates, but it's vague, oh yeah, that's going to be included, oh yeah, that's, and so it looks like it's one of those things where, yeah, the time is going to happen, but the time, you missed it already. It's like you don't know exactly where to apply your attention if you're a volleyball player. So I understand it's just a plan in action, but it has some very specific dates.
Part of that was to make sure that we actually stayed focused and got the work done. So for me, it's really important to kind of keep this moving, especially with the rather tight time frame that we had. So
Understand.
I would comment that I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward to this. The Parks Master Plan did look at, the whole city, and I'm looking forward to this as a deeper dive into underutilized spaces. Also looking forward to the public coming out and letting us know what they would like there, but also there have been times where we've thought about putting something on the greenway here, putting something on the greenway there, and somebody comes out and says, oh, well, I always play Frisbee with my kid there, or something, I don't know, like just to have, or I always see people running their dogs there, or whatever, like, if you don't know how the space is, and a decision can be made as to whether or not to actually build or implement something there, even so, but it's really helpful to hear from a broader section of the public how the spaces are currently being used, and where opportunities are to meet the needs. And like I said, we've already heard, it sounded to me like an incredible need for regular volleyball, and which I hope that we'll hear from the students some more on that, and the city will, and that there'll be some scheduling that will make sure that those students and their coaches can actually make those meetings, and that they know about them. Thanks.
yes.
Any other feedback? All right. Again, I think this is mostly informational. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you so
I think
much.
we're all looking forward to this process. Thank you. Okay. Moving on then, street tree removals. Well, this can't be right. We're asking Mark Ford, or John Ford is not even 8 yet.
Good evening. I'm John Hawkridge, the Urban Forestry Coordinator for the city. First, next slide. I just want to start out with a bit of good news. We're going to begin tree planting on the 16th. We have 135 trees and 45 new tree basins. I think we've surpassed the 135 trees in the past, but not this many new basins. That means concrete being removed for new tree basins. Now for the not very good news, but not too bad news. Next slide. We have 3 trees, or 4 trees actually, up for removal. First is 1458 Portland Avenue. There is 2 liquid amber trees. The property owner applied for removal after one of the trees dropped a limb, and seeing that their neighbor's tree previously had dropped a large limb, and that tree had been removed, and these trees are about to cause some more issues. So, next slide. So these are the 2 trees, and one of the main issues with these trees are that the trees have been topped for utility clearance. You can see the knobby sections where these are all topping cuts on these trees. The growth is that secondary growth, which is the problem that comes with topping trees and leaving them to grow out. Next slide. Let's see. This is just another view of the topping cuts and that flush of growth that comes out after the trees are topped. And the other one is a more recent picture. Well, actually, the left one is recent, but the other one is from the summer. And you can see where PG&E had done some topping for an aerial cable wire, which is unusual, but they're being more aggressive with their tree pruning around even secondary wires now. Next slide. This is the first tree. No, this is wrong. This is tree 683. This is the second tree, but next slide. This is the tree that lost the limb. That's where the limb tore out of the one of the main stems of the tree. Next slide. We're seeing on these trees a lot of these old cuts that have partially healed, but you can see that they're not totally healed, and there's some weeping out of a lot of these cuts, indicating that there's some decay, some problems still. They won't totally heal over. In the background, you can see some nice topping cuts like this on the tree. Here's one that was a topping cut, and this is the sucker growth that grows out after the tree's topped. This is where these kind of branches break out, where the point where the tree was topped, where the cut was made, it decays. These branches grow out as they get larger. The cut decays more, and eventually they break out of the tree. Next slide. Just another unhealed wound. Next slide. This is just showing that the color markings on the trunk are showing that PG&E has trimmed those trees in successive years. Next slide. This is a bit of included bark. It's not too bad at this point, but as the tree grows and this heavy end weight from all this flush growth where the topping cuts were made, this is putting this at risk of splitting out. Next slide. Also, there's some obvious curb and street damage caused by these trees. It's pretty extensive in the curb gutter area on this tree. Next slide. This is actually tree 682, but this is the one more towards the west. Next slide. The same thing here. You can see these partially healed wounds that are decaying inside. The slide on the photo on the right shows a large wound where a limb was removed, but it hasn't healed over. It's showing very little healing, and it's starting to decay there. And that's at the main junction of all the main stems of the tree. Next. And again, this tree is pretty much riddled. Both these trees are riddled with these partially healed wounds that are showing decay inside. And the wounds, such as this one again, is where a topping cut was made. There's another stub cut here, so this is all decaying. This is a sucker coming out of the tree, and that's where we lose large limbs. Next slide. Here you can just, here's another good example. This is a close-up of this. This is an old cut that's definitely decaying, and you have all this heavy weight, and that when these trees leaf out, in the spring and the summer, there's going to be a lot of weight there. That's where those branches rip out again. Next slide. And this is another wound that's not healing and decaying. Next slide. There was some girdling roots. It was cut at some point here, but this is not a good situation for trees. When the roots girdle the trees, they actually kind of strangle themselves. Also, this landscape fabric and all this rock around here is not really helping the trees, but that's a separate issue. Next slide. A little bit of curb damage on this tree. You can see that at some point the sidewalk was repaired. The entire property was curved away to give those trees more room, but the trees continued to lift the sidewalk. You can see where there was some shaving done after the sidewalk was repaired. I'm not sure if the city did that or if the property owner had that done. Next slide. So that's it. These are the two trees. They're basically beat up old trees with a lot of wounds that aren't healing well. A lot of risk of more limbs failing. There was one large limb that failed, but all those little wounds that aren't really healed are where other limbs had either fallen out or been removed for whatever reason. And these trees qualify for removal per section 2.1A, damage beyond repair.
All right. Back to the commission for questions.
Just had a question about the, in the memo, you wrote that it was probably top for power line clearance pruning, even though there's no overhead high voltage wire. Does that mean that if there isn't a high voltage wire, that the topping doesn't necessarily need to be done?
There are secondary wires, which aren't considered high voltage. In the past, PG&E did not trim for those. Now they are trimming for them.
Oh, okay.
So just...
Yeah, I just wondered because it's a nice big well, and so for replacement trees, sounds like you wouldn't necessarily want that tall of a tree because the wires would become an issue again.
It all depends. I wouldn't hesitate putting a larger tree in there.
Okay.
PG&E's policies come and go. They're aggressive sometimes, some years they're not as aggressive. They're not required by the PUC to do this pruning on secondary, especially on what's called an AWAC cable. It's an insulated cable that's designed to withstand some tree contact. So I'm not sure why. Well, I know why, because of fires, and they're trying to be, more assertive. And on the what is the street? The side street, there are high voltage wires, so the one tree needs some pruning, so that could be might be a smaller tree, the other would be a larger tree, or could be a larger tree.
Those prunings happened recently, you feel like? You think? The prunings happened recently? Or the topping happened recently?
No, these are several years ago, but
Okay.
it looks like continuous, like it's been done.
Over and over again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
Do all trees under like utility lines get pruned like this, like have this issue, or is it like this type of tree specifically?
It's not specific to this tree, but many trees that get pruned have that issue. It all depends on how well the pruning is done, and often PG&E claims to do proper directional pruning, making proper cuts, but more often than not, they just kind of flat top everything. So, yeah.
I think you've often said in the past, related to that question, that on many streets there's power lines on one side but not the other side, and so different trees would actually be recommended or approved on one side but not the other side, depending on their height expectations. And so it sounds like here these are maybe more communication lines or something, and not power lines, and so
There's both.
there's both.
But it's a secondary line. That's why I'm questioning why PG&E is doing this. They don't necessarily need to prune for this. It's an AWAC cable. It's a secondary to your household current. The high voltage are
Higher up.
and they go through the transformer, and they're transformed to.
Usually the telecommunication lines like coax cable and
That's the
those are-
lowest.
Or the lowest
And I see
voltage.
I see trees being pruned beneath those lately because the tree crews are being very aggressive, because that's what PG&E is asking for. So
I had a few other questions. One was, you mentioned at the very beginning, something like, you said the city has 135 trees and 45 tree basins. You said there was new basins that concrete was being cut. What does that mean? Can you explain to us and the public, what does that mean when you say the city has 135 trees? Does that mean that's what we've bought to use for the entire year, or those are things that we're going to be planted immediately because we already know where they're going to go, or what does that mean?
That's this year's planting project. That's from applications collected over the past year.
Okay, it's
Every
waiting for the
winter,
right season.
spring, we do a planting project. So this year we have 135, which is a good number, not our best number, but it's better than average. So
And how long is that window? Like, say somebody wakes up today and is like, wow, I'd really like a tree, or?
I could, if I'm not too busy and it doesn't drive me too crazy, I could try to squeeze them in this year, but
Otherwise, they'd wait for the next
more likely,
year.
I'm going to put it in a folder for next year.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then one last question was, let's see, these are liquid ambers.
Yes.
So there are some residents in a nearby neighborhood that have been very concerned about the city approving removals or recommending removals of liquid amber trees. And some have said that the city sort of has it out for the liquid, have felt like it seems like the city wants to cut down every liquid amber. Do you see this as just one of many that you're trying to remove, or these are only on the list because they have specific requests and they have these specific problems?
Sure. These liquid ambers were all planted about the same time, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, maybe longer. They're at a point where they start to lose limbs. It's a trait of liquid amber trees, besides the fact that they rip up sidewalks very aggressively, very aggressive root growth. There are some liquid ambers that have been brought to me. Property owners talk about removal. I look at it looks okay. I say, we'll keep an eye on it. If something happens, if you notice cracking or broken limbs, then we'll look at it again. But generally, if a property owner, as with this property owner, brings this to my attention, and honestly, when I looked at these in the summer, I think I spoke to the gentleman that lives there. I told him we might not be approving these, just so you know. They look healthy. They lost a limb, but that happens. I was kind of leaning towards not putting these out for approval. But when I went back in the winter and looked at all these topping cuts and these unhealed wounds and all that, I decided these it's better off for the city to have these taken.
Okay, so there are some that you don't recommend being brought before us at all, and we never even see.
For now, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then one last question I had was, the city council had an item last week or the week before on the revenue measure, street tree and street light funding. If the city, which would include proactive pruning potentially, which is part of a street tree master plan, and would address what sometimes in meetings we've heard that these trees can last longer and would have lasted longer if they had been proactively pruned, which is what this measure was about. Do you know if that passed in the city? And
they may last longer, but that's a question for Devora or.
I can jump in on that. So we're in a process of that. The intent is to bring the revenue measure back to council again for approval and inclusion on the November ballot. So we're still in that process of developing exactly the scope of work. But the intent is to have funding to do that proactive pruning, as well as do risk surveys, so we have a better understanding of some of our larger liquid amber trees, so we're not reactive, we're more proactive in what we do.
Okay, great.
Just had one quick question. So you noted, and I noticed all the unhealed wounds. Do you think that's because too much was at once? Do you think they were improperly pruned? Do you think these trees are just not? Any idea? I know trees are.
I think it's a combination of things. It's the heavy pruning that had been done, the top pruning. It's all stressing the trees out. So they're showing that they don't have the good response growth. They're not healing over as well as would be expected. So if there's one cut, more than likely that whole thing heals over. You get that kind of eye look on the trunk of the tree, and it's good. But these have many that won't quite close, and a couple that are really raw, open wounds on the tree.
All right. Have we opened for public comment? Not yet. We can open for public comment, or did we? No, that was the last item. Okay. Public comment, anybody raising their hand? Public comment? Okay, please.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Harris. I'm the property owner at 1458 Portland Avenue. Thank you very much, Mr. Hawkridge, for your presentation.
Can you talk into the microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. Yes, we purchased this lovely home in Albany about 2 years ago, and so the tree hasn't. Neither of those trees were pruned by PG&E since we've been there, and we kind of inherited the rocks on the ground and the coverage over the limbs. The roots. And they are beautiful trees during this fall and during the spring when they bear leaves. But we did have a pretty significant limb fall on October 21st. I brought pictures. I don't know if that's something that I can provide.
We can. Yeah. Thank you. Fortunately, the limb that fell was large, but not large enough that it caused any damage to the house, but it did actually strike the house and scraped off a tiny bit of paint. We were lucky there. However, both of those trees are very large trees, and frankly, whenever we've had a storm or any wind, I don't want my family in the front of the house because it feels very certain that one of these large trees could easily, either lose another large limb or fall altogether. The other thing we just wanted to raise is that we are on a very busy corner. We're about 2.5 blocks from Memorial Park and the high school. We have a lot of senior citizen neighbors. We get a lot of street traffic on our corner. We probably have dozens of people every day walking under those trees. And, I worry about my mother-in-law who lives with us, who's elderly, walking under those trees. I think they are, unfortunately, very dangerous, even though they can be beautiful. So we would request that the city approve Mr. Hawkridge's recommendation to remove them, and are looking forward to hopefully getting replacement trees that we will help nurture and hopefully add to the urban forest that we do appreciate. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming for the meeting. Appreciate it. Any other public comment?
No other hands are raised online.
All right, bring it back. Discussion, motion.
I second the motion.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none. Can we have a vote?
Commissioner Chan?
Yes.
Commissioner Chang Frank?
Abstain.
Commissioner Kent?
Yes.
Commissioner Logan?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin? Yes. Commissioner Trinkle?
Yes.
And Chair Abbott?
Yes.
Motion passes.
She's free to vote however she likes. She's free to vote however she likes.
Oh, okay. I thought abstain that you're restricted.
Oh, no.
No, she's just. All right. Moving on.
Okay, the next location is 1086 Peralta. Magnolia, Little Gem Magnolia, mature Little Gem Magnolia. It's been in decline for several years. I've been keeping an eye on it. It's not getting any better. It's getting slightly worse. I spoke to the property owner applied for removal. I spoke to them about it. We tried to see if it would respond after sidewalk repair was done in, I think, 2022, maybe. And it's just gotten worse since. Slide. So this is the tree. Next slide. This is what the tree looked like. I believe it was 2022. there's two magnolias, so the one on the right is the one we're looking at. Next slide. Another shot more recently. Next slide. Something else that I've noted here, you can see where the new sidewalk is in this slide for one thing, but I noticed there's no root flare. I'm not sure why that happens, but that's not a healthy situation for a tree when there's no root flare. The trunk should come down and flare out, the roots flare out above ground. Next slide. This is just showing that most of the weight is leaning towards the house here, and if those limbs break, they would hit the house. Next slide. Again, you have a situation where there's a large wound that's not healing over, it's starting to decay, and this large wound is right at the union of all the large limbs of the tree. Next slide. Another situation where there's included bark, kind of a co-dominant stem on this tree. Next slide. Yep. Okay. So the issue is that sidewalk repair was done on the tree, roots were pruned, and it didn't respond well. Magnolias are a little sensitive to root pruning and often don't respond too well. So our process is we do the sidewalk repair, we do the necessary root pruning, and we hope for the best. And it doesn't always turn out that way. So this tree qualifies for removal, section 2.1A.
All right. Questions from the commission?
Just a question. So sorry, John, can you explain why you know that it was the sidewalk repair? Was it like, was the timing exactly?
I went back into Google Street View, and the year before the sidewalk repair was done, it was the picture where the tree is lush and green, and after, all the photos after, it's declining.
Yeah, thanks for noticing that.
I was hoping that it would come back. Sometimes a tree gets pushed back, it kind of stresses out, but then it'll come back, but this one didn't.
Yeah, I guess a couple questions about that. Do you know if the contractor waited for your advisement or another urban forester's advisement before bring back the roots?
All of our sidewalk projects, I talked to our sidewalk manager and the contractor, and we discuss how to properly prune the roots, how to deal with roots when they need to do. Basically, it's minimal pruning. It's only just what's necessary to replace the sidewalk. Clean cuts, keep the roots moist while the project is happening. More often than not, that works, but occasionally it doesn't.
And then would there have been any things that the city could have done to mitigate, knowing that you're cutting back? I just don't know. Is there anything to be done to make sure that that tree gets more nourishment or something immediately after the cutting of the roots?
Not really. You need to let a tree heal on its own. There's no vitamins or medicine to get the tree per se. We took the precautions. We take precautions, and like I said, it doesn't always work. It's hard to say for sure. The magnolia, the species itself, is more sensitive than a lot of the other species that we have. So there's a few trees that look almost as bad as this that are in the same situation. Though there was sidewalk repair, tree looks kind of shocked, but we're just waiting on it to see if it responds.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe something I'd like to know at some point. I'm sure you don't have the number offhand, but how many trees have been compromised? And I can imagine we're gonna see over the years, oh, this was 3 years. But I'm just wondering if you could maybe get back to us at some point, unless you know right now how many already that you've already seen this impact.
Generally, every time you root prune a tree, that's a wound on the tree, so that's some stress. But again, there are certain trees. A lot of our species can deal with the root pruning. They get stressed out, but they recover quickly. These don't. But I could try to It wouldn't be easy, but I could
Yeah,
try to
no.
get you a ballpark figure. It's not a lot. We don't lose a lot of trees, but we've lost a couple.
Yeah. And the only other thing I'd say is, like, if we know magnolias have that specific vulnerability, then it would be nice to see if we could mitigate, or if, like, you know, I know that sidewalk repair is really important, but if there's other, like, if it's not like I don't know, just ways to be more considerate of that specific tree species before, you know, putting back the root.
Two things, they have large root masses, so it's hard to kind of avoid
I see.
root pruning in our little planting strips. Second thing is, it's not on our planting list anymore. So,
It's not, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I know, but it's a lot of the historical trees, yeah.
that's part of the reason they've been taken off, because they're too sensitive.
But they're beautiful. They're really beautiful trees and all
They are,
that, so.
they're great in front. In fact, the smaller, fancier varieties I prefer, and they're good in yards, you know, not.
And there's some healthy ones around in
Yeah.
appropriate places for sure.
Yeah.
One follow-up question to get at some of the Chang Frank's question would be, you know roughly how many trees have their roots pruned every year through the sidewalk program, and we know roughly how many street tree removals we see every year, maybe 10 something a year, or a dozen or something like that, which many of them probably have nothing to do with.
Yeah, I would say most of the trees that I bring here aren't, at least not directly related to sidewalk repair. This one, I'm saying that it is. This is because of sidewalk.
So a separate question would be, how many sidewalk locations got repaired last year? How many of them had roots trimmed? Basically, is this like 1 in 10 or 1 in?
I can jump in here. If I recall correctly, I think some of this information, historical information, is detailed in the street tree management plan. And I don't know the numbers, but that's something we can all look up. And I would say it's safe to say that most every sidewalk repair has some level of tree root impact. But I think the number of removals relative to the number of repairs is pretty low. And I think that's detailed in the management plan.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Any other questions before we open it for public comment? Well, then open it for public comment. Anybody raising their hand or,
No hands raised online.
right? Bringing it back for discussion. So you wouldn't plant another magnolia here because it's no longer the list.
I wouldn't, although this year's project has a couple that were.
Oh, from
applied for
before you
before
did the
we
new
made the
list. Okay.
changes.
You will.
We have a couple, not too many.
I just, it makes a nice pair. That's all I'm saying. The two magnolias really look nice.
Yeah, but that's not going to be.
Very good.
Whenever we remove a tree, we try to not plant the same tree.
Oh, of course. Okay. All right. There was a reason you removed it.
Yeah, usually there's something in some kind of fungal issue or something.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense.
That affects that species specific. So.
Makes sense. All right. Any other discussion? I think that the one picture showing the one looking so great and the other one so bare is very telling.
Yeah, they're planted, I imagine, the same
Night and
time,
day.
about the same size.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and move that we approve this application for removal.
Second.
Commissioner Chan?
Yes.
Commissioner Chang Frank?
Yes.
Commissioner Kent?
Yes.
Commissioner Logan?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Trinkle?
Yes.
And Chair Abbott?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Right.
I did want to add that I was misunderstanding the abstention. I was thinking of recusal,
You were thinking of recusal.
and that's something that has to be said in advance.
This was an interesting one.
Okay, this is an interesting one. 1019 San Pablo Avenue, liquid amber that Someone reported a liquid amber looking in sad shape a couple of years ago. And this is one where I tried to see if the tree would respond again. Gave it some time to come back. Slide. This is the tree as it looks now. It's winter now, but next slide. Okay, this is what the tree looked like 2023, 24. Next slide. And this is what it looked like after I got the call that the tree is looking sad. Next slide. When I went to look at the tree, I noticed these 1 inch or so sized holes drilled all around the trunk. Next slide. I had a little chisel that I stuck in there, and this oily, smelly chemical something was oozing out of the holes. I actually took the chisel back to the office. I wrapped it up in a plastic bag, and I wasn't sure what to do with it, and I threw it out because it just smelled really nasty, and I don't know what was in there, but someone apparently injected something into this tree to kill it. So, and this is on San Pablo Avenue. Next slide. Here you see the hole and the oozing and the discoloration of the bark from whatever that battery acid or whatever that was injected in the tree. And the slide on the right, you can see the trunk just starting to ooze because it's suffering from whatever that substance is. Next slide. And then it recently lost a limb, and after talking to what is now Hella Bagels shop owner, I decided it's time for this tree to go. You can see the picture with the posting. I took that picture because the original posting was torn down immediately. San Pablo Avenue, this happens. But you can also see some more weeping and some bark starting to peel on the tree, and it's really time for this tree to go. So this tree qualifies for removal per section 2.1A and 2.1B, I believe.
All right. This is a disturbing one. Any questions?
Yeah, I think this is the first time I'm aware of what sounds like an act of vandalism. I mean, is that some sort of crime, I guess, if it's property of some kind?
It's public property, so it should be, but we have no way of knowing who did it or...
I mean, have you checked with Hella Bagels if they have video?
I talked to them. It wasn't Hella Bagels.
I don't think it was them, but did they have video that would perhaps catch?
I don't think so.
Somebody with a big drill and
he would have told me because he was slightly upset that the tree has to come out.
Not to accuse anyone there, but there have been times where a shop owner doesn't like how a tree canopy shades their sign. Something.
Yeah, it wasn't the largest tree, and there's another one kind of right next to it, the same property, the same property owner. So I made a lot of guesses myself, but I can't say.
And you can see it's actually above the sign. So that wasn't a concern here. The leaves were above the sign. It wasn't really interfering with the sign. So because that was my first thought too. I hear that all the time, but it wasn't.
That's something with power tools and whatever chemical.
Yeah, those are nice clean holes, nice thick big holes too, not little,
Okay, yeah, please.
When was this tree, when it was poisoned, about the time?
I've been watching it for the last 2 years, I think, so 2-3 years ago. I don't know exactly when, but I wasn't aware of it, and someone called in just kind of a random, hey, this tree looks really bad on San Pablo. That's why I went out to look at it. So.
prime suspect there. Okay.
Just one thing, if this happened 3 years ago, I think Hella Bagels has only been there 2
That's true,
years.
that's true, yeah.
They just had their
That's true,
2-year
that's true.
anniversary.
And I didn't realize,
Just to clear my favorite bagel spot.
it was pretty vacant there for a little while before
Yeah.
them, right? So,
You can see in the first picture, there's
yeah, it's the,
Yeah.
I don't know what
Who was there
Good alibi.
before?
it was, that used to be Christopher's Cafe.
It was
There's
after,
nothing
And then
fancy.
it
there was
was
some other.
another one, yeah,
Yeah, so it may have been at a point where
yeah. Transit.
it was,
A little empty for,
Correct.
yeah. Very strange. All right.
Well, I just question, so you took these pictures a few years ago? Or you just, or is that recent?
They're recent and a few years ago, yeah.
Okay.
Is this Google Maps or is this Street View or is that?
Can we go back? These are mostly my pictures.
No, the one from the healthy one, the healthy one.
No, I meant the
Healthy
picture
one is
of the chisel, yeah,
This is Google and.
Oh, the chisel. Oh, that's,
Yeah,
yeah, those are.
Yeah, no, those are my pictures, yeah.
from a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Oh, that's,
That's when I
that you
first
kept it in the file, huh?
oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially something like this.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, that's really disturbing.
Oh, what a keeper.
The only one I could think about is that Inco that somebody butchered because we.
I was just thinking
we
that.
denied
That's another
removal,
form
so
of
they butchered it.
vandalism.
Next year we approved because
I know.
it was dead.
I know, so frustrating.
There was that guy that was walking around with spears, hacking trees.
There was, I haven't
Really?
seen him, I've seen him here and there, but not much, and not in Albany. I talked to Albany Police one time about him. They told me they banned him from the city, but I've seen him on the Greenway once in a while, but I don't think he did this kind of.
No,
Could be,
that's
could
too
be.
sophisticated for him.
He thought he was helping. He just had shears and he thought he was
He was pruning.
trees.
No, he wasn't pruning, he was cutting little trees right down at the.
Oh,
Chopping and leaving big piles of, yeah.
great. The community involvement. You all serve in our own way. All right. Let's see. If we had public comment, yes, we have. All right. Motion.
I motion to approve removal of the tree.
I'll second.
Okay. Commissioner Chan,
Yes.
Commissioner Chang Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Kent,
Yes.
Commissioner Logan,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Trinkle,
Yes.
and Chair Abbott.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Well, very good. Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
All right. I keep calling you Mark. John. Thank you, Mark. 15. All right.
We don't need this.
Next item, subcommittee updates. I don't believe we have any current subcommittees. Announcements and agenda items. I have a couple announcements. Just one, I'm part of a group, Albany News Project, where Brian and I are part of this group. We're launching, trying to get a professional news source in Albany. So we're kind of having a fundraising drive now, but we plan to launch in May-ish, June-ish. So we're, Albany Scanner, Albany
The
Scanner.
idea that it would be a funded journalist that would cover meetings like this and other
Well, probably
city
not.
meetings.
Correct.
Maybe not.
That'd be a lot to ask.
That's, oh, yeah, so like Albany Patch, but a good.
And it's actually the person who's serving kind of as the editor, publisher will be Emily Ragusa, who is
Yeah, I
the,
remember it was great. She was
who's
great.
the art, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to say that's out there. Keep an eye open, Albany Scanner. And I also wanted to mention Spring on Solano, big event coming on the 4th. That's Saturday the 4th, the day before Easter, and we will be having the very popular Easter egg hiding. Last year, people followed along, the people with bright vests, and would just pick up the eggs as they put them down. They will be disguised this year. Should be a nice event. 4th.
Okay. I have two announcements. Summer Activity Guide. The 2026 Summer Activity Guide is available to view on the City of Albany's website. Hard copies can be picked up from any city facility, or you can contact the Recreation and Community Services Department to get one mailed to you. This activity guide features classes, summer and seasonal camps, special events, and programs that take place from May through August. Be sure to check it out. Registration for summer activities is now open. And there's also new free outdoor pickleball open play. Our new free outdoor pickleball open play program takes place on Tuesdays from 4 to 6 p.m. for dedicated court time with player-led games. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just learning, share the courts and get moving. Remember to bring your own paddles and balls, as this is a self-directed session without an instructor or staff. Connect, compete, and build community.
Sorry, where is that? Is that Ocean View?
Yes.
Okay.
To follow up on that, there was an email we received a week or so ago about pickleball court for the, it was for the tennis court, where it's also striped for pickleball, and that you need these portable nets, and people were emailing and making a case for nets that were more amenable for, anyway. And so is there, staff see that as something that can be addressed over the counter at the staff level, or is that something that would come before us?
We've already ordered them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got quotes. We're putting in the purchase order, and so it should, however long it takes them to deliver and get them set up. They're actually pretty nice nets. They're they'll be not collapsible, but they'll be, in place. They'll roll in place. They're aluminum, so they look really sturdy and look really nice, actually. So it should be coming out.
Sounds like what I suggested originally. All right. Other announcements?
And then as for future agenda items, I do see on the list that we got of the master plan addendum that I think we're on the agenda, or that is again on the agenda for our April meeting, for our next meeting.
I believe that would be on the agenda. We also have sugar sweetened beverage discussion. It's that time of year. Maybe something else.
Very good. Said that it was kind of ominous.
Well,
All right. All right, we'll close this meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.